Hello, John.
Hey.
We want to use, right now, I think it's probably that one.
Well, right now, no, that one. It's good. No,
I just wanted
Microphone-
to say
nope,
to you
nope,
guys
the
that
one
I was sorry
it's
to hear
good.
about
Exactly.
Mark.
Yeah,
Nope.
it was a shock. Shocked
Just get out of
everybody.
that.
Yeah,
It's good.
it did. It shocked me.
It's
Well,
on the
I'm
right
on
one.
camera.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to let you guys
Ah,
know
yeah,
that
thank
I
you.
was sorry
Dick is
to
here.
hear about that.
Dick is here. All right.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Now we can get started.
I made it.
Hey, Warren.
How's everybody doing?
Doing all right. How about yourself? Here, hey, say hi to Dick.
Hey, Dick. How are you doing? Okay. Well, there's my practice for when he
There
does
you
get
go.
out.
Well, he might be on audio.
I'm tired. I got family. I've got 3 19-year-olds and then another family
Is
of
that
8.
why you got out of the house?
Actually, that works out perfect.
Well, the 19-year-olds are all going home today.
All right.
The rest of the family will be here till Sunday.
Dick.
I have a lovely picture of a table.
Got one with me.
I do not. That's just not something that I can learn. Because all I can do is set up for homes and
Just trial run and see what all I need. Speaker's one of them, I guess.
to the laptop.
Hey, Dick, say something for us.
What would you like me to say?
You did it right there. Good job. Go on, move this table.
Where are you all?
We're here, buddy. How's it
Ah, there
going?
I see a person.
You have
Good morning, Jay.
Yes, it should have Bluetooth. Yeah. We can barely hear you, Dick, so we're going to try to fix that with a speaker Stan has.
Okay. Miriam,
Yes,
see?
that's us?
No, that's them.
Them, okay. What is the occasion?
It's the board meeting. Rotary First Flight Club board meeting.
First foot, Rotary first foot.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then at 1 o'clock will be the regular meeting.
That was absolutely insane how quick that sounded.
they know that you're laid up.
Oh, yeah.
Real short, I gotta work tomorrow after the storm.
We stayed up till 6 a.m. outside watching. Well, I had the night all the girls upstairs and they've gone to bed. I'm thinking, I can't go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. Just what if something happens? We need to be prepared. So we sat downstairs.
All right, Dick, can you say something now?
Hurricane party too.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she
Oh, wow.
comes.
There we go. That's good.
Outside.
Hey,
Can you
what's
hear
up?
me?
Yeah.
All right.
We can hear you great.
We can hear you great.
Great.
All right, well, let's get this party started. Hey, everybody, how's it going?
Hey.
Yeehaw. So, Joe isn't going to be able to make it today. He had a meeting with, I think it's Homeowners Association. He had to do some grant that was real time sensitive. So, but he is going to send out the treasurer's report in the next week or so. So just look on your email for a treasurer's report from Joe. Stan, you want to give us a membership update?
Yeah, really quickly. You can take one of those and pass it around. We are at 41 members and growing. We added the Hewitts this last month, which is great. So
if any of y'all.
That's really good. The other thing that I wanted for you, and I'll email it to all the board members, is this is what we have in the pipeline. It's pretty old, and I haven't followed up on it very much lately. I'm getting drowned out by my other Rotary jobs a little bit. So we have something in the pipeline that needs followed up, but we need to encourage people to start contacting, reaching out, and giving us names, giving the membership committee names and contact information that we can talk to them about Rotary. The other thing I want to mention is that since the last year's numbers are final with Rotary International, and we were the top growth club in the district with a net 10 new members. We actually brought in 12, one a month.
Yeah.
So you got to top that.
Yeah.
Or maintain it. That would be fantastic. So
No, we can.
we lost two, we brought in two, but unfortunately, we lost one already. Unfortunately and unplanned. So
Very much unplanned.
everything seems pretty good. The district didn't do very well. There were only 2 areas in the district that had growth last year, and that was our Area 1 and Area 8, which is New Bern.
Yeah.
But overall, the district was down 41 members. The zone, which is Pennsylvania through South Carolina, was down 1,000.
Yeah.
That's like a whole district on
And
it.
that's probably gonna hit harder as Rona goes on, so.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of our, and not on our agenda, but I'll briefly touch up on something. I've kind of got it on the beneficiaries of the OINC, but, I think one of the things we do have to try to get back into doing is service projects. And I found a group, actually it was an article on the black business owners in the Outer Banks, and I read it. And one of them was interesting. The person who does it's the pastor at Mighty Winds United Methodist Church. And she does a thing called the Peace Garden Project, where they help people get gardens to become more food dependent. Locally, I think where she came from, it started up in New York or somewhere, but she has brought it to Mineo. And so I think I like projects that help with food, but I really like projects that help with food and don't need ongoing care. Like you're helping somebody and they can continue it on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've reached out to her. I don't think that them being necessarily a beneficiary for the OINC and whatever, but I think it might be a good thing for a service project to help somebody build some above ground boxes, something along those lines. So I'll let you know more.
And on that same note, I did get word back from Kill Devil Hills that they're putting a list together of possible projects that they will let us work on.
And the same thing for the beach food pantry.
Yeah.
She did express interest and sent a really long email too. Happy to discuss it whenever we're ready.
And also in regards to the Peace Gardens, I mean, Lowe's has the kits that they can build raised beds out. I mean, we could probably get, those for the list costs.
Yeah.
Lumber and those little, plastic things.
Lumber has gone up, but if we have a big hurricane,
What hasn't gone?
it'll be laying on the side of the road. But all of my raised beds are repurposed, but
Ours are too,
I,
from the pier.
yeah. Well, they had a lot of that come out last year.
Yes, we do.
Fortunately, hopefully it comes back in November. I'm going to bounce around on our schedule because I think I'd like to talk mostly about OINC. The OINC. I'll just call it the OINC, so it's simple. So let's go to 4. Pets training. This is something I think Stan and I know we've talked about. In the past, what we've done, and most Rotary clubs, but not all, they send their president-elect to PETS. So PETS is the President-elect Training Seminar. And so they also have a program for the vice president. And I've been in the club, I think this is my 10th year actually. This, unfortunately, with loss of Mark, was the third time, at least in that time, that we've had a president-elect not be able to fulfill their duty. So that's 30%. I mean, that's 1 out of every 3 years on average. I think we should plan on and budget for in the future, and I'll talk to Joe, I don't know how much it is, but we should plan on and budget for the president-elect to go to PETS as well, because that way, if an unfortunate event happens as it did this year with Mark, we already have somebody who's done at least the president-elect training. And if we don't send them, or if they can't go, I think we should do an in-house PETS training, and we can get the info. I mean, your district governor and whatnot will probably help us with that.
Yeah.
But I think we should pay for and encourage them to go. And if we have to kick everybody's dues up $10 a year or whatever,
I think it's around $600.
$600. So
Yeah, I've been to two.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah.
I agree.
So we'll, I'll get with Joe, but I mean, if anyone makes a motion, I think.
I move that we send President.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes then. And I can't put John P. You're both John P.
Yeah, right.
My name's shorter, so.
Yeah.
You can do John C.
So we'll do that. And I mean, I just think it makes sense. And not that they can make it every year or even most years, but just to have that backup, I think it's just
It's worthwhile, it truly
Yeah.
is. We
Oh, I felt like it was.
we
too.
sent every one of our president-elects there, and the president goes back with them just to,
Yeah.
so we've had 2 people every year.
Yeah. Zoom meeting, I'll give a quick update. Stan, I have an extra computer that I don't use that often. And so we've got it set up right now. And I purchased a camera and microphone. And so I'll just donate it to the club as time goes on. But I think it's not a very expensive laptop. At least I think it cost me about $300. So my goal in it is, it's not the greatest laptop in the world. If it continues to work well for us, we at least know we can buy a cheap laptop and get it set up. And the camera and the microphone, like I say, we'll keep it, we'll keep it all together. But as the spring comes around, and as we know we've got more money maybe from fundraisers, we can purchase our own. I think for now, this can be ours. And if anybody, if I'm not going to be able to make it here, and I already talked to Stan about this, is that anybody from the club or somebody can just come by my office and grab it, and we can use it. That way it's available to the club for every meeting that we do a hybrid. And that'll save us from having to drop even a few $100, because I think one of the things that we, in my opinion, right now, and definitely until Oink and Oyster comes out, we really shouldn't fund anything that we can't just raise the money ourselves for, because I think we don't know what we're going to be. Oink and Oyster usually brings 6 to 9 or 10 grand for us every year. And we don't know what that's going to be. So we don't want to deplete our budget. So I am going to set up an account. I was going to do it. Rotary's got like a 20% discount, or there's something they've got. So they have updated Rotary online. So
Now they're trying to fix it.
now they're trying to fix it. So it's updated and not working. So when it's updated and working, I'm going to go on and get us account for Zoom, so we're not using Stan's account. And we already have a club email through Gmail. It's the best. It's bestrotary@gmail.com. So, so that's where that stands with the Zoom meetings. But I mean, we're going to definitely need to continue having a setup. We're going to do this as an ongoing thing. And it works out great because Dick broke his leg a couple weeks ago, and here he is.
Yeah.
That's right.
At some point, I had sent an email out about Mark Cutler. At some point, I would like us to have a celebration of life for him for our club. My thoughts were Heyman Park. He loved
Big right there. Yeah.
his house is right there. And I meant to ask you, although with Rona, I'm not sure. He loved karaoke.
Worry about the microphone. People feel comfortable holding the microphone saying.
Yeah, that was my concern.
That's my big
So
concern.
what I think we would do is just play the music and have people sing without a microphone. I don't know how many people would show up, but something along those lines. If anybody else has, even just getting together and just sitting around and hanging out.
I mean, I was thinking lay a wreath at the beach or float a wreath at the beach, you know?
Yeah.
He'd love the water. So,
Yeah.
I mean, all of it, whoever wants to come meet it.
Yeah.
I don't know what his favorite surf point or swim point was, but, you know, float a wreath out for him, you know?
Yeah.
I always take it out to the pier too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Didn't he go to the Avalon Pier?
Well, I think he did to the bar. Yeah.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I thought I remember seeing him in there.
Yeah. He didn't fish as far as I know, but I think he went to the bar and hung out.
I think he surfed out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he
But yeah,
did.
we could drop off, you know, the beach.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's tentatively plan on one of these nights. Do it at the pier.
If you guys don't know anybody that makes wreaths, I would suggest Jimmy Anderson's Forest. He
Okay.
does really, I mean, and he could theme it surf-wise
Yeah.
or karaoke, or
Yeah.
I could have him theme something. I don't have any idea what the cost would be, but I'll be more than happy to contact him
Yeah,
to be able to get the wreath.
And you know, obviously, biodegradable.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Karaoke surf, is there anything else that he liked?
Gosh, probably. I mean, he took a lot of he did a lot of photography. Yeah. So, but
I'll see if there's anything that's biodegradable that
Yeah.
we can add to the wreath.
yeah, that'd be awesome. And I mean, I just think it would be nice for us to commemorate him. He was such an active member. He did, you know, he came just about every meeting. If there was a person with more attendance than Mark, they didn't have much more. So,
And on that same note, that I have the video of his service,
mhm.
and I can post that right around the time
Yeah,
that we're doing it.
All right.
So
Yeah.
it'll be fresh in everybody's mind.
thank you for doing that.
Oh, that's,
Oh, that's your, yeah, you can greet your guest.
Hey. All right. So, the last thing that I have is just, again, a continuation of talking about what to do with Oink and Oyster. I think one of the things that, in my mind, outside of what we do, we want to try to make sure we do. And one of those is to keep our branding going, because we have 17 years of Oink and Oyster, and everybody on Columbus Day thinks about that's come. So I think we need to keep the name Oink in there just because it's the
Yes.
first part. And oysters really don't travel well, so we're probably not going to be able to do an oyster this year. So the Oink and something, or just the Oink. The other part is we need to keep in touch with the band, and I'm going to speak with the director probably in 2 or 3 weeks whenever they, they're not going to do that this year, I don't think. But and I can say that because my wife's a teacher, and they start in 8 days, and they still don't know what they're supposed to be doing. So I mean, they might now, but
It's a
cluster.
Yeah.
But now, don't get me wrong, it's a cluster of a situation. I mean, look at our,
Oh, yeah.
you know, everybody's scrambling. So I don't want to put it on them. They're just doing the best they can, but the situation's a cluster. And so, but one of the things I've thought about is, and when we do whatever we do, I think we should do it online. People pay online,
Yep.
so that the day of, we're not trying to take money. We're just delivering or doing takeout. And the other thing I think is we can give the band a code so that in this year for their participation, do 30% of what they bring in. Just give it to them. Say, tell people this code, you promote it, and whatever we bring in from that code is 30% of it's yours. And that keeps them involved because I don't think we're going to have something for them to do this year. And that way we'll have helpers next year when we have an actual Lincoln Oyster.
Right.
And because we don't want to give that up. Those kids really make it easy.
Yeah.
For us.
Cool. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Need a motion, or we're just fine with?
I think we're fine with it.
I think we're fine too.
Well, they had talked about, doing the chicken. That would be easy
Yeah.
to do with work, but calling it the oink and no oyster roast, so that you keep that in there, but it's OHNO. Oh no, oysters.
Yeah.
But the oink and no oyster
Or the
roast.
oink and rooster.
The oink and rooster roast. Now, we did talk about that.
Yeah.
That was it.
We need to nail down the name pretty quickly though. I mean,
Yeah.
we're at that point where we need to.
Because you need to do a save the date too.
Yeah. Yeah, we need
So
to.
we really need to work on the name, find out what we want to do, what we want to nail down. So I wouldn't necessarily, I know we talked about really not going after sponsorships as hard as we do, which we can, but we really should go after our partnerships to see if they're willing to do anything.
Just give them a first time excuse.
And a lot of them
Yeah.
are still willing to do it, believe it or not. We're doing this with the Kentucky Derby. They always have a big derby party at the Elizabeth Gardens. They're doing theirs entirely virtual. They're going to show the derby, but they're going to prepackage, like with Cafe Lachine, like 100. I think there's like 100 different boxes. So they're still doing theirs, and then you swing by and pick it up. You've got a certain amount of hours to come by and pick it up, and it's all prepaid.
I'll tell Rod's going to do so this year. And the reason John's here is he's going to help me with the logistics of the event.
Yeah.
Rob has been our biggest person the last few years of getting sponsors. And so I kind of pigeonholed him in here and said, hey, buddy, you're going to be the co-chair on this one because we're going to do, you're going to be the sponsorship person. And I think it actually worked well for him to go out and just touch base with people. So I'll send that to him. And I'll also tell him just, hey, let the board know, we just want a soft touch.
Yeah.
Hey, we're still having an event. Would you be interested in being a sponsor, getting your name out? We're not sure yet exactly what that's going to look like, but.
Well, if y'all have the list of who's done it in the past, I don't mind helping Rob, because Rob and I work together on several accounts.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be
Yeah,
happy to
if
reach
you
out to
want,
y'all.
why don't you catch up with Rob?
I sure will.
And yeah, he's got the list, so that's fine.
Okay.
I have a list. I have lists from years from Mike Bolton, who used to do it.
All right.
So, all right, well, Lori, you're busy. Good job. You want to be vice president?
No, I do not.
That was on my mind.
I just.
I did have that as a thing. And,
Did you really?
well, I had it next for Mark Cutler, and I think softly, but definitely before the end of the year, we need to try to look at getting somebody in the VP spot.
Jay, back to one, have we nailed down what we're doing? We know we're doing are we doing half chicken? And what kind of size are we doing?
I think, well, that's what we need to decide
Okay,
right
I didn't
now.
know it. Okay.
I think Oink and Rooster because it's close, and I think let's do half chickens, and let's get.
It's easy.
I've got somewhere a package of. I've based it off of high cottons,
Yeah.
so I think piecemeal package, and we just have them do it and have it at least a couple days, maybe stop orders Thursday night so that we can, I don't know, we'll get into the logistics of that, but at some point beforehand, we'll cut off orders and so that we can order it. The other thing is I had spoken, now Jeanette's helped us last year out in Elizabeth City, but I spoke with like one of the owners of the pig joint here.
Pigments or?
Pig,
Top and Richard?
Top, that's who, I couldn't remember. one.
That's okay. It's not a common name.
Yeah. So Top and I talked about it, and he said they could source us some pork. And so they buy a ton of pork. So they probably get a heck of a deal on it.
They can probably source your chicken too. And if you decided
Yeah.
not to do I've just found this out. If you decide not to have chickens, you can get whole chicken breast
Mhm.
for only $2.99 a pound on Tuesdays at the fresh market.
Yeah.
That's cheaper than I can buy it anywhere. And I don't even know if you can get it that cheap from Jeanette's, but it's a whole chicken breast.
Yeah.
You know, like 2 large breasts. And you could easily toss those
They're
on the
huge
grill
breasts.
too. Oh, they
Yeah.
are. And it's
Yeah.
only $2.99. I haven't seen it. And if we just order ahead, if you order ahead, I mean,
If you're a fast runner, there's probably a lot of chickens running loose in Berkshire County right now.
so you're right about that.
And does anybody know the owners of Pizzazz? Because they own that chicken joint.
Chicken shack?
Pizzazz up in Crawley?
Pizzazz down here, new chicken shack right down here.
There's one there and there's one
Okay.
up at
So I
Sunshine
guess
Family
some-
Pharmacy, Cook Shack,
Cook shack.
Yeah.
So it's another, resource.
or even,
Yeah, I know Will.
Will would be a
So we
good
got
ask too
people
about
ask
chicken.
for,
Yeah, now Will, Kearns has talked to Will in the past, and Will orders his pork early. He orders it January, December, but he's told Kearns that he would get us the pork with commit a year ahead of time.
Oh,
Yeah, we haven't done that, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't. So my thoughts are talk to Top,
Yeah.
since he's a
and
Rotarian
he's
too.
Rotarian, yeah.
So talk to Top and see what we can source some of this stuff at, and then just kind of go
And
from
you can
there.
always ask Karen too from the Ruin Station. And
Oh,
Mike
yeah.
Kelly buys tons of this, so we can reach out to Mike
Yeah.
Kelly as well. He's got that catering business.
Yeah, and, well, we got Jeff as a member.
Yeah, Jeff Valentine, he does all his accounting,
For
yeah.
all of his business.
He's a bookie.
He's a bookie.
Yeah, and I can get in touch with Jeff if you guys want to get some quotes on, chicken.
CFO
But
of
Top
4 different
definitely the
businesses.
pork.
Mike Kelly, and then 3.
And then
in the same
remember, you got
office,
fresh
same
market at
business.
$2.99 a pound every Tuesday.
That's the way to do it.
Well, that would work Tuesday, if it's every Tuesday and they continue that would be,
Oh, I get the email every Tuesday. I went and ordered, gosh, 4 pounds or so, and I went and I picked them up in the packages. They were like 4 like this, and it was only $12. I mean, it's enough to feed 15 people
yeah.
easily.
We get those, we get the ground beef on.
Yeah, so they have it on Tuesday, $2.99.
And where is this?
Ground chuck at Fresh Market.
Yeah. Fresh Market
If you
down
call
by
them
the
on
hospital.
Mondays, tell them how many pounds of chicken you want and how many pounds of ground chuck, $2.99 a pound, they have it waiting on you. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a
We get
hoax.
10 pounds about every 30 weeks.
Okay.
Sounds like we're almost finished with the
Yep.
menu. What are we doing for size? We're gonna do cold size? If we could do hush puppies, and throw those hot.
Yeah, I think we can roll the hush puppies. I think
Pop them that, cook them that.
cook them that day.
Right
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
I mean-
they're not good overnight.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not unless we use lard. If we could cook with lard, then they'd be good.
Yeah,
I've
no.
got a thing of lard in the house. I'm gonna need to cook with. Jess is not happy that I have a thing of lard, but I am.
Best fried chicken ever.
Beneficiaries. I think personally Beach Food Pantry, and I think
And they
that,
will send plenty of help.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know how much help we'll need, but I think they're gonna be a name that a lot of people know. Kearns had mentioned Lacey McNeil Scholarship and our own 501c3, and those are good causes. The only concern I have is that they might come across as a little self-serving.
Yeah.
And the other part of it is, I just don't think they're going to get as much people as the Beach Food Pantry.
No.
I think they're going to be And I think they're gonna be in need.
The Beach Food Pantry also has all the tentacles out, and they are in touch with all of the marketing. I mean, whether it's from Virginia
Yeah.
to wherever, so
Yeah.
they do have, I mean,
Elizabeth-
Elizabeth's done an
Yeah,
amazing
she's gonna
job there.
promote for us too. I mean, that's gonna be an inside promotion for us.
Yeah.
I think that's, you know.
Well, are we on agreement, Beach Food Pantry's a good beneficiary and say a percentage, maybe 20% of the proceeds or something along those lines?
Yeah, just list them as the major beneficiary.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think that'll help with sponsorship.
oh, yeah.
Do we need to make a motion for that? I'll be happy to make a motion.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we choose the Beach Food Pantry. Dick, is that okay?
Fine, yes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous approval. All right, Beach Food Pantry,
Now we need a name.
Lincoln Rooster Man.
Lincoln Rooster Roast?
Lincoln Rooster, Lincoln Feather, Lincoln Cluck, Lincoln Oh-No Oyster.
Lincoln Oh No Oyster Rooster Roast.
No.
That'd be funny. if you said that.
Nah.
Lincoln Feather, Lincoln Rooster. It's tough, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
Lincoln Chicken, Lincoln.
I'll just say
Cluck.
Rooster because it's close to us.
Yeah,
But I don't care either way. As long as we keep Oink in there,
yeah, it's got it. You got
whatever y'all are fine with. Flip a coin.
I think Rooster.
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 Rooster, we go with it.
Rooster. All right.
Lincoln Rooster
it
is.
is.
And then
But-
maybe we can have like a little, oh
Lincoln
no, a
Rooster
little
Roast
oyster
is
down at the
good.
bottom saying, oh no,
Yeah,
not me
yeah.
this year. Maybe we can do like,
Yeah,
oh
no, that's
no,
great.
not me.
And I'll catch up with, I'll see if Carl's okay, and if not, I'll catch up with him. Our sons are in the same class, so I can talk to, Mark at that does our graphics every
Oh,
year.
yeah.
He lives next door to, Carl.
Okay.
But, like I say, his son and my son have known each other since they were a year old, so,
I think that would be cute.
Yeah.
Have a little oyster sitting off to the side going,
Yeah.
oh no,
yeah.
not me.
Well, we'll catch up with him and see if he can throw something together to that effect and make a rooster in there, and then, oh no, for the,
Oh no, for the oyster.
have we nailed a date? Did we talk-
same date. I think we keep the same date,
Yeah.
because we want to keep that. One of the things that I've noticed that happens is if you don't have that as a date, somebody else is
They're
gonna
gonna
jump
swoop
in
right in
there,
and get it.
and they'll
Exactly.
try to even slip right in there anyway. But,
October 10th. My mom's birthday.
Oh,
And are we
she.
not
was
sold on
not.
location yet? Are we still planning on?
well, I think,
No.
Could be another month.
we'll get the stuff out. What do y'all think about, I think we should honestly consider doing both as far as people being able to pick up in a line and use, longboards. And I think that'll, again, kind of keep longboards in the loop too.
Oh, I
She's
agree.
We
always
can put
been
up
good.
signage and.
And we can just kind of keep that loop where we usually park in one way. The other thing is that we will, I think delivery, and I think delivery because I think it's just it's gonna boost our sales so much.
We can do delivery. I mean, there's
Mhm.
enough of us that can
Yeah.
get out and drive.
And it's a
That's
good
not
way
problem.
for people to purchase
Yeah.
it.
And my thoughts
Drop it off
are
on the porch.
by that, and I really think maybe Thursday, either morning or night, they have to pay, order it, and, tell us where they want it within a certain range.
Is that gonna be, what, within a 10-mile radius?
I think within 10 miles, probably, from
Nags Head, Southern Shore?
Nags Head to Southern Shores.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excluding South Nags Head
And not Collington.
and not Collington.
Sorry.
Well, I don't know.
Unless we
Collington
have,
might,
like,
Collington
improved-
might be a big one for
Well,
sales.
Well,
though.
Lynn Mall does live back there,
I
so she
don't
can do the
think
delivery to
John lives back
Collington.
there. Moose lives back there. I mean, I wouldn't exclude Collington.
Okay.
I think one
I'll take
person
that
could
drive.
do Collington.
Look, I'll tell you what, if we got enough orders from Collington,
Yeah.
take them back to the clubhouse.
And they can come in and pick
They
them
can
up
come
at the
and
clubhouse
Pick them up at the
Absolutely.
at an exact
At a
time.
particular time.
Yeah.
That's not a bad
And, you
idea.
know, throw them in the back of Melissa's truck and,
Yeah.
or my truck and take it.
Well, I mean, we have
And
41
Leon's got a
members.
band
Like I
too,
say,
SUV.
let's say we had 40 orders from Collington. I mean, we're just gonna be bang, 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 bang.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and we could even give them an option of places to pick up.
I'm gonna try to get this stuff.
Yeah, go ahead and set it up.
Yeah, we could do, you know, something for the Lincoln Rooster in the harbor headlines, which they
Yeah.
have to all the residents.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea. And then you probably should cut everything off by Wednesday.
Yep.
So you'll have Thursday and Friday.
Let me talk to the guys in the office down there. I'm seeing them on Friday and
Yeah.
see what they're doing.
Great idea.
And we've got, I need to catch up.
The food truck is phenomenal down there during this lockdown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot. And the other thing that, you know, I think about Collington, they have a lot less food options than the beach because a lot of people want to cut them off. So it might be that they're really stoked about delivery.
That Collington pizza, man, is just killing
Oh,
it
yeah.
down there. Killing it.
And they're good people too.
They are good people.
All right.
Oh, right.
All right, guys. Anybody have anything else for the board?
No.
My phone number's wrong.
If you're looking at me, no.
Email me with your phone number and I'll
All right.
change it in the system.
Not that anybody's trying to call.
All right, well, anybody motion to adjourn?
A motion
So
to
moved.
adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We got it. We have another board meeting in 2 weeks when the district governor's here.
Okay.
Yeah, and that board meeting will essentially be the district governor's.
Right.
We always have one for him, so,
He gets to ask questions.
So we'll have this and then he'll do the
Yeah.
meeting.
yeah. So unless something crazy comes up, we'll pretty much just meet and then we will turn it over to him and he will tell us about all of
The great
his,
stuff that's going on.
his plans as district governor.
All right, awesome.
Okay, Jay, you run out of USB ports.
Let's see.
What?
Sports?
Yeah, I did, didn't I? Kick that microphone if you need one. Yeah. And you can just download it on there. We don't need it. Okay.
Stan Keeler? Stan?
How you doing, young man?
Oh.
I think Stan's
We'll get you set up with your presentation here in just a second.
Ah.
As I figure out how to run it.
It's all new stuff.
How's it going?
Now, are you in the Coast Guard?
I was not.
Oh.
Spent 7 years in the Navy. First thing out of college. And just got involved with the auxiliary after I retired. So
That's funny. I spent 7 years in the Navy right before college.
really,
Or in the middle of it.
I did 6.5 years in the Navy before.
Well, I got this letter from the government back in 1968. Find this. I can't operate a PC.
Oh.
I went into the Navy at 57.
57.
57. I was 17.
How long were you in, John?
6.5 years.
Dick, you still there?
I'm still here.
All right, just checking. Here, we'll swing it around. You can talk to John.
You got no signal. Are you on, Dick?
I'm on. Can you
Oh, he's on.
see and hear me?
We just can't see you.
We can.
You can't see me? Oh, goodness.
Poor thing.
Well, do we start over again for the meeting?
Yeah, we're gonna start over here in a second.
I don't have
Well, why don't I cut off for now? And I'll come back in about 1:15.
Yep, 1:15, and we'll see you then.
Very good. More later.
Hey, thank you.
I will help you with anything.
How about membership chat?
Okay.
Yeah, the root, be the official membership.
Okay.
Hey, you in meeting for all, Stan, is it?
Be the chair. And we'll cover the
people around you.
Intermeeting for all, does that can the recording?
That doesn't,
I think hopefully a very rare thing that we'll have someone pass away, but people's jobs change all the time, their ability to commit, and it is a 3-year ultimate commitment from VP to president-elect. So sometimes things just get in the way, and I think as a club, we just want to make sure we're the most prepared for that. At this time, John, would you do me a favor and pass around the Happy Dollars?
I know John only got $20 bills in his wallet. $20. Who's up? I'm gonna follow Jay around.
He's giving me change in there. Sorry.
I'll go. Jay's not ready with me, and he's usually ready.
Mike?
Right.
Slacker.
I'm putting in 5. All right. So first, I need to thank someone who is anonymous. And I'm not going to tell you what Anonymous did, but I am very, very grateful. And Anonymous, if Anonymous is in attendance today, will. That's happy dollar. Happy dollar number 2. My wife and I. What do we get?
Yay.
Happy dollar number 3 is she's got a great new job. She's working. We're both working in the same industry. I don't know if that was not really the plan, but she's working for Surface Sound Realty. She's a marketing specialist. Great for her. That's what she's doing in that realm. And she also gets to use a lot of her photography skills in that job. So that's 3. I'm just happy number 4 and 5. That'll do.
Anybody else happy?
I'm happy for you.
Don, you're reaching.
I'll give a couple. Number 1, my parents visited from Missouri last week, so we had a really great time. And then they hadn't seen our son, and my dad hadn't seen either grandchild in 1.5 years, and it had almost been 1 year for my mom. So they were really happy to see him. As always, those visits are never long enough. And number 2, I'm glad this thing works because I was really kind of wondering. And it was a cheap computer, but so far, so good.
Anybody else?
One happy dollar, my youngest daughter qualified for a mortgage, another one because she's buying a house we own.
All right.
John, you got anything for us, John? John, were you reaching your wallet, John?
I going for your wallet. I only have 20s.
That's good.
All
You
right.
can still be happy. You can still be happy.
I'm gonna be happy, and I'm happy. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up. My entire family, my sister and her family are here, and I finally got to meet my little great niece who turned 6 months old. So that's
Awesome.
amazing, and really, really stinks that you don't feel until that late. And then I had a house full of 19-year-old girls that just left this morning all weekend long. So I am happy that they were here. I'm not happier that they're gone, but gosh, it made it a little bit easier.
All right.
I'm happy.
What are you
Go
happy
ahead.
for, Dick?
I want to thank members for sending me the very nice get well cards.
Cool.
Excellent. Well, we're happy you're here visiting with us.
I'm sorry I'm not there helping you eat the food.
Well, there's that.
We can drop it off too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cookies are really bad today, Dick, so don't worry.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I have a happy dollar in that today is Carl's first day of physical therapy. So it's going to be very painful for Carl, but the first day is always the worst on that. So I don't know what I did with my money. Did I just give it all to her?
You gave it all to me.
Okay, so whatever's left.
You can come up with 19 more happy days.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. And for those of you who have some extra dollars and want to play the 50/50, it's right over there. I think I've been seeing them tear tickets pretty good. Yeah, I don't know what we're up to, but no, our treasurer isn't here. He had a emergency grant type meeting. So without further ado, I am going to get away from here so y'all don't have to look at me anymore. And John Polk, I believe the speaker is yours today. So why don't you introduce? Yeah.
As Rotarians, we're tasked to come up with speakers to speak to our club. And, for me, it's important to pull someone in from the community who really exemplifies our motto, which is service above self. And, lived on the Outer Banks for almost 8 years now. And about 2 years ago, I bought a boat and I said, you know what? I need to learn as much as I can about a boat. Who do I go to learn about a boat? For the Coast Guard. So I went to the Coast Guard's website and found out there was such a thing as a Coast Guard auxiliary. And they had a course coming up pretty quickly. So I joined that and truly amazed to sit down in a meeting and find volunteers, community volunteers, people who live in your own community, who will give their time to teach basic boating skills and seamanship and make sure you're as safe as you can be out on the water. What I didn't know was how much the auxiliary dedicates their time to the actual U.S. Coast Guard. So, again, in service above self, Mr. Horst is here today to talk to us a little bit about Flotilla 1607. That's the local flotilla, and he's going to fill us in. So I appreciate you coming. Thank you so much.
Great.
If I stay 7 feet away from him, am I cool without a mask up here? Okay. What we have, and I'll move the podium a little bit. Oh, I'm not going to touch the podium a little bit. You guys might need to jockey around. We have a little video that we took that were really highlights from our year last year. I've edited it down to like 3 or 4 minutes. I thought we'd start with that because it gives you a pretty good overview of what we're up to here in the auxiliary. The box in the top middle. makes you feel a little bit like a narcissist. I was the one that took all of the pictures, so by nature, I'm in a lot of the pictures. But there are other members. We, like you, have about 45 to 50 members, all across the community. We are thrilled that you reached out and asked us to meet with you guys today. We love telling our story. And my guess is that, we end up crossing paths quite a lot. I know we're probably attending a lot of the same community events, the parades, the nights out at Lowe's, and all of those other kind of things. We, like you, love to serve. We serve in a little bit different way. So what I'm going to do is spend 15 or 20 minutes telling you about our mission. Let me start with some late-breaking news. About 2 weeks ago, we were recognized in the Outer Banks among the 850 flotillas across the country as the National Flotilla of the Year for 2019, which is kind of neat. Yeah. And I think it is because of the unique area in which we serve and the things that we're able to do both within the community and with the active duty Coast Guard. Who knew that the Coast Guard's second biggest base in the country is actually up the road in Elizabeth City? So they do almost all of their air operations for the entire East Coast down to the Caribbean and across to the Azore Islands. If you look that up, it's 2/3 of the way across the Atlantic Ocean out of Elizabeth City. And their folks need a lot of training, and it turns out that they reach out to us to help them with the on-the-water part of the training of their fixed-wing aircraft and their helicopters. And that was a lot of what you saw there, was us supporting the mission of them training their rescue swimmers, their helicopter pilots, and their flight mechanics to drop baskets and drop first aid and drop swimmers to your deck in case you need it. So if we can we shift to the PowerPoint? I'm not going to wear you out. I think I might actually be within specifications of the old Jack Welch GE 10 slide. Great. You can go to the next one. There you go. Okay. It is interesting. The Coast Guard is unique among the services in that it is the only one that has the kind of active civilian support that the Coast Guard Auxiliary represents. So you certainly have your National Guard, which is kind of more a state organization that ends up augmenting state operations. But the Coast Guard really leans on us. I didn't realize this, obviously, until I joined the Auxiliary a couple of years ago. The regular Coast Guard's only 40,000 people. And you think about that with all the little boat stations up and down the coasts and the number of people there and the air stations with all the pilots and the swimmers and the mechanics and what have you. It's only 40,000 people. The reserves are 7,000. They really count on the Auxiliary. So there are about 30,000 of us that volunteer our time to augment the Coast Guard's mission. And our primary mission, if we were in the middle of Kansas, who said they were from Kansas, right? Yeah, if we were in the middle of Kansas, our mission would be a little different than it is here in the Outer Banks. It would primarily be to share the idea of marine and boating safety to folks that are boating on rivers and lakes. Very, very important. And here, that is certainly one of our primary missions, is to make sure that people that are boating in our local community know the rules, are operating boats that are safe, and providing advice and providing guidance when we can and when we need to. Doing a lot of public affair and public education outreach. We'll talk about that in a minute. In addition to that, though, because we are so close to the air base in Elizabeth City, and then we're also surrounded by Coast Guard boat stations. So for those of you that have gone deep sea fishing out of Oregon Inlet, our primary boat station folks, the folks that actually support us the most, down there at Boat Station, Oregon Inlet. We've got a boat station in Elizabeth City, one down in Hatteras, and they lean on us as well. So go to the next one. You can always serve more than one service organization. So I we'll take your story back to my membership, because I'm sure there are folks that could do double duty and be auxiliarists during the day and Rotarians at night. Likewise, for those of you that would like to star in next year's movie, right? There is plenty of opportunity for y'all to get involved if you wanted to reach out and think about volunteering for the auxiliary. So we are, like you, volunteers. As a group, I was kind of amazed at this. We ended up volunteering about 15,000 hours last year across our 40 or 50 members. I'm sure that your membership is like our membership. We have 40 or 50 people that pay dues. We have about 20 of them that do any of the work, right? Which is fine, right? Any hour is a good hour. But we do end up loving what we do, so we spend a lot of time doing it. The interesting thing, and like you guys, the backgrounds of the people that join us are all over the place. Mostly retirees, I would say. We have a guy that was the #2 guy in the CDC during the initial HIV and AIDS epidemic back in the day, who worked very closely with, on a day-to-day basis, Anthony Fauci, who's been on the news. So some very, very I am not humble kind of people that I end up being able to interact with in the auxiliary. So you can go to the next one. I want to talk a little bit about the 4 or 5 different missions that we have. By far, the one that I love the most, I'm our operations officer, and that puts me in the middle of organizing all of the activities with the Coast Guard Air Station. You saw some film clips, you saw some pictures. We end up being the on-the-water component of their training exercises with their H-60 helicopters. Those were extremely important. A couple of years ago when Florence hit down in southern North Carolina around Wilmington, and these guys literally went 10 days straight flying missions around the clock, rescuing people from, these are the ones that are doing the heroic rescuing people and cats and donkeys and dogs from roofs. And one of these guys told a story that was just harrowing, that they obviously have specifications within which they're supposed to operate their helicopters, and obviously conditions you're not supposed to go over. This one guy ended up taking his helicopter into a space that was way too small with winds that were way too high, because he just rescued the parents and he had to go back to end up rescuing the 2 kids that were still on the roof of the house. So, it's like when he got back to the base, he kind of got slapped on the wrist a little bit and then got a medal for, for what he did. I mean, these guys are just, they're superheroes. What they do is unbelievable. The fixed wing aircraft, you saw a flyover of a C-130 fixed wing aircraft. Those would be the guys that are dropping rescue rafts on boats that have just sunk and stuff like that. And we end up kind of providing target practice for them to, we'll go out there and float around and let them try to drop as close to us as possible without dropping it through our deck. And then we pick up whatever they throw out the back door. So that is one mission. Let's go to the next one. We will do safety patrols, and depending on where you live and how much you boat, you will typically see us out on Saturdays and Sundays. Unfortunately, the whole COVID epidemic has shut us down quite a bit because they don't want us interacting as much with the public. But we'll be out there with a boat that is emblazoned with a Coast Guard auxiliary banner, and primarily just floating around, looking for people that may end up struggling with some of the rules and regulations. So we're available in case somebody has trouble. We're also available to share education. And I would say one of the things that I've been most amazed at, particularly where I live in Collington Harbor, you have a whole bunch of people that rent houses that come down, they bring their paddle boards, they bring their kayaks, and nobody understands the state regulations around operating paddlecraft in particular. Almost everybody knows you go on a boat, you got to have a life jacket. You don't necessarily have to be wearing it, but you have to have a life jacket. Most people know that if it's a small child under the age of 13, they got to be in their life jacket, or that's a $300 fine. What I've been amazed at is nobody wears life jackets when they are paddleboarding or kayaking. And it is a state regulation that you have a personal flotation device on board a kayak or with you on a paddleboard in order to be legal. We are not law enforcement. We can't do anything. We're educators. So when you see Coast Guard Auxiliary out there, we are your best friends, because if I give you a tip, it is a tip that could save you from $200 or $300 of a fine if the Fish and Wildlife guys with the green stripes on the side of their boat happen to come along. So we'll do those kind of safety patrols. This gentleman, the rather rumply looking gentleman on the left here, and I took his boat up on 4th of July, and we were doing patrolling to keep people away from the barge that was lighting off fireworks at the Currituck Lighthouse. So it was the only public display of fireworks on the Outer Banks, and we got to be a part of the team that ended up doing that, which was kind of fun. Go to the next one. What you see there is a 47-foot surf boat out of Station Oregon Inlet. The surf boats, these guys are crazy. I mean, you talk about Superman. These guys are the like Jor-El of Superman, like the father of Superman. They take these 47-foot boats out in really snotty weather when the bar down there at Oregon Inlet is breaking 10 and 15 feet, and they sit there. And they sit there because they know that some chucklehead like me will have taken their boat that didn't have enough power or didn't have enough engines out there into, into the ocean, and they can't get back, or they have trouble getting back. So we do a lot of training with them to help them with their towing skills, with their rescue skills. We'll pretend to be disabled and kind of let them help us. Those guys are pretty cool as well. Go to the next one. We do boat inspections. So I don't know. I don't know if your boat's ever been inspected by the auxiliary. It will be now, right? I'll come on by. And the purpose of that, and we should probably advertise it a little bit more, is to just make sure that everybody that's a boater has on board all of the equipment that is required by law, and that you understand some of the just good to knows about operating a boat in our local area. So a lot of folks will not know, a lot of folks will end up catching on the personal flotation device thing. But, even folks that are operating power boats, flares, expired flares, horns, all of this stuff, it's just really good to kind of know the list, and our folks come out and kind of help you work through that. And most of our victims are very happy, like Kathleen here, whose boat passed inspection. You get a sticker, it goes on your console. And while I can't guarantee that helps get you out of jail free if the Fish and Wildlife guys pull you over, they will at least know that, hey, he had or she had their boat inspected, and at one point this year, it had everything on board that it needed to have on board. So go to the next one. One of the important missions around here, particularly given the impact of a lot of the hurricanes and storms that we have, is helping the Coast Guard inspect all of the aids to navigation, both national aids to navigation and privately owned aids to navigation. Because when a storm blows through here, just like everybody's docks get impacted, these things get blown down, get uprooted and whatever. So these are pictures of a couple of patrols we did where we identified some problems with aids to navigation, reported that to the regular Coast Guard. It's their responsibility for coming out and fixing them. Okay. We do wave the flag quite a bit public relations wise. So we try to be in all of the parades. We try to be in all of the, local events where first responders and other service organizations are coming together to be able to tell our story, particularly to the kids, get them involved. Go to the next one. I love this. Public education is really one of the things that we love to do the most, and it's the most rewarding. It takes the form of a couple of things. And COVID has put a huge dagger in the middle of this, but we would typically do 4 or 5 boating safety courses a year, 1 day long, 8 hours a day. At the end of that, you end up getting a boating card that anybody under the age of 32 now, something like that. If you were born after January 1st of 1988, in order to operate a boat, you must have on you while you're boating some proof that you have taken a boating safety course. So most of us are probably old enough that we're grandfathered into that. But if you have young adult kids or whatever, they would need to end up doing that. We run those classes. I was talking to John. We also run a couple of times a year longer, more in-depth classes where we are able over the course of 8 or 9 3-hour sessions to really do a deep dive on a lot of things related to operating a boat safely, doing navigation, things that, aren't likely required for operating your boat on a Saturday afternoon, but kind of cool and nice to have. We'll be back to doing that in the fall, hopefully, when the Coast Guard loosens up the regulations on us. The other thing that we do, we have a relationship with 11 or 12 school districts in the area, and they ask us to come in. The Coast Guard has a pretty neat program that's focused on second graders and fifth graders, and we come in and kind of tell a different story. Second graders a little bit, more basic story. Fifth graders a little more advanced story, about boating safety, because around here, almost every kid you touch in the schools either has a parent that has some sort of a vessel, whether it's a paddleboard, a kayak, a powerboat, a sailboat, or has a friend that has a vessel. So these kids are going to be in and around boats, and getting the story of boating safety out to them early in their lives and then circling back when they hit 5th grade is pretty important. You can't see it very well here, but this little guy, he lives in my driveway in a trailer. So he's called Coasty the safety boat. And I should have actually brought him here today. He's remote controlled. He's about almost the size of a table here, right? And his eyes go up and down, and he squirts water, and he's got a horn, and he's very, very cool and very interactive. And he can chase you around and stuff like that. So we bring him to a lot of the events, particularly for the younger kids. They kind of love it. Oh, you can also talk to him, and you have this voice modulation gizmo that makes you sound very, very inviting to a small child. But yeah, if you want Coasty to come to one of your meetings, you let me know. So that's public education. Go to the next one. We also have relationships with many of the businesses that end up supporting the boating community. So you can't walk into a West Marine or a Manteo Marine or Frank and Fran's down in Hatteras and not see a display where we are set up sharing the story of boating safety. We have folks that make those visits to those businesses and encourage the proprietors of those businesses to engage their customers in conversations about boating safety while they have them in there. So, okay. Yeah. We also get to do stuff I can't talk about today, but it's top secret and undercover. Not really. Go to the next one. Anybody have any questions? That's a very brief overview of the mission that we have as the Coast Guard Auxiliary and a little bit about what we do. Yeah.
Jack, you didn't touch much on how you assist with search and rescue operations. I know you were involved, was it last year off of Collington?
So it is true. So I live in Collington Harbor, and Oregon Inlet is the closest Coast Guard location to Collington Harbor. So if anything bad happens, they're going to send one of their boats out to help. It takes darn near an hour for them to get a call, get a crew on a boat, and get up here from Oregon Inlet. It's just pretty far away. And it was like a Wednesday afternoon after school last year. They got a call about a kid who had gone out of Collington Harbor on a little 8-foot, you've seen them, the sit-on-top kayaks, right? He had borrowed a friend's sit-on-top kayak. He had taken his fishing pole, and he had gone out of Collington Harbor with the idea that he was just going to go do some fishing right around. We have a little beach and a roped-off swimming area. So all he wanted to do was kind of get out of the inlet a little bit where the fishing might have been good, bob around for a while, and then come back in. He got out of the inlet, and it was a really snotty day. The wind was blowing 20 from the south, about a 1 to 2 foot chop, and he immediately realized he'd made a big mistake because he started getting blown, right? He started getting blown north toward the Wright Brothers Bridge. And he turned around, and one kid on an 8-foot kayak and 20-mile-an-hour wind, he couldn't get back. So he kept getting blown. Smart kid. He had left, dumb kid for a couple reasons. Really smart kid in that he had taken a phone with him in a waterproof pouch. And he, believe it or not, he had the phone number of the boat station, the Coast Guard boat station at Oregon Inlet in his phone. One touch, Oregon Inlet, I'm in trouble, right? So he's out there bobbing around getting blown away. And he calls Oregon Inlet. Oregon Inlet kind of looks and says, okay, we have a Coast Guard auxiliarist that has a boat in Collington Harbor. Hey, Jack, this is what's happened. Can you go out and see if you can provide some assistance to this kid? So within, I'd say, 5 minutes of the kid calling, my wife and I are on our boat. I didn't have time to go get another auxiliarist because we didn't want to spend the time. My wife became my deputy, and we went on out there, and we found him just before he was going to float into the marshes right around Kitty Hawk Landing, dock of the Bay Marina, and the sun was coming down. The sun was kind of going down, so he would have gotten lost in these marshes. God knows, I mean, he would have lived, right? But God knows. So he was scared as hell. We load his kayak up. We call his mom. We get back, and fire and rescue, the EMTs were all in Collington Harbor, not knowing what was going on. And so he's like, we turn him over to his mother, and I'm like, you should be very proud of your son because he took a phone and he knew exactly what to do. She says, I'm very proud, but he's grounded for 2 months. So that's a good example. We are not going to be the primary search and rescue call, just because we're not equipped to do that much from a kind of heavy lifting perspective. It's going to be like, my boat is now an official Coast Guard vessel. It's a 20-foot little pontoon-looking boat, right? It can do what I did last summer very, very well. Go out, be the first one to respond, take a look, see what's going on, provide information back to the Coast Guard. And that's exactly what they want, is some eyes and ears to kind of help them prepare for the ultimate rescue that they're going to need to do. We will, help them out with search and rescue if it's in our area, and if they think they need help, they give us a holler. Primarily, we leave that to them. they're kind of the professionals. But any other kind of questions or? Yeah. Well, again, thank you very, very much. Really thrilled to have been given the opportunity to come tell our story a little bit. And John knows how to get to me. I've got an email address. We would love to have all of you, all 40 of your members, become our members. And likewise, we'll help you with your roasts and things like that.
Remember that likewise.
Huh?
Yeah, I think
Oh, hey,
you got to set the example. I'll be in touch. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hey, that kid was better than the guy that Kearns and I, one of our members, were out, and he had a very good setup for it. And we get out there fishing one day, and it's a heavy fog. You might can see 100 yards, maybe. And he's got radar and everything on his boat. And we're driving, and I said, Kearns, stop the boat. I hear something. And there's ding, 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 ding. There's a guy out there in a 14-foot John boat. Hey, am I almost at the Wright Brothers Bridge? He's maybe 100 yards off Congton. I said, no, you are just out of Congton. Oh, man, that's where I left. Hey, can you point me where the Wright Brothers Bridge is? I got this compass from my grandma, but it doesn't work. We're like, buddy, you might need to follow us. We're going to get you where you see the shoreline, but you don't need to be trying to get to the Wright Brothers Bridge. So, this kid was much more better equipped than the guy we met. And we hope that he didn't keep trying. We don't know. We got him to where he needed to be, and he can make his own decision. But thank you for speaking to our club. And it's 50-50 time. And I'm going to get my tickets.
All right, and as customary, our guests will get to do the drawing. The first drawing is going to be for the pot, so set that one to the side. The second one's going to be for a local gift certificate. Set that one to the side, and then call this number out. And then we'll go with the gift certificate first.
8, 9, 3, 5, 8, 7.
Okay.
Right before me.
587.
587. John, our president-elect. All boy. All right.
Oh, you didn't get them all?
What'd you get?
$20 at Stackham Heights.
There you go.
Good deal.
All right.
Ready for the other one?
Yeah. This is for mine.
For the big money. 893571.
Is that Moose?
No.
John?
On the table.
Stan? Oh, John.
Right here.
Oh,
Yeah, you just about can't go wrong. We got about 20% of the members here named John.
All right.
Not a requirement, by the way, Jack.
Nope, don't put it either. All right, and you choose.
It lives.
You can't rip these cards? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
you can.
Rip it up.
And it's it's over $500.
Yeah, it is.
So.
We'll have Joe give us an update.
What's that?
Oh.
And then today,
No.
we
You
got
gotta pick the ace of
$61
spades.
today.
Yeah.
Taking treasury money?
Yeah, I think.
All right.
61 today, so
Good.
it's not a bad day.
Good deal. Does anyone have any announcements, questions, dying concerns that you need to share with the group? I will try to continue to look at the camera. Online people, I tend to want to look at the TV. Somebody needs to make a screen with a camera right in the dead center of it. They're going to make a mint. Well, with that, let's end with the four-way test. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Would it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth,
Fourth, is it beneficial to all concerned?
And our motto, service above
Service
self.
above self.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for speaking to our group, Jack.
Good meeting.